October 26, 1940, Minesfield, California. The sleek prototype taxied down the runway, its propeller slicing through the crisp morning air. This was the NA-73X, the first North American P-51 Mustang, taking to the skies for its maiden flight. Piloted by Vance Breese, the plane lifted off effortlessly, reaching speeds that would soon redefine aerial combat. Little did anyone know, this machine, born from a desperate British request, would become the deadliest long-range fighter of World War II, escorting bombers deep into Nazi Germany and helping secure Allied air superiority. The story of the P-51 Mustang begins in the shadow of war. In early 1940, with the Battle of Britain looming, the British Purchasing Commission urgently needed fighters. They approached North American Aviation, WWII, a relatively new company based in Inglewood, California, founded in 1934 by James H. Beesch Dutch Kindleberger. Instead of producing more Curtiss P-40 Warhawks as requested, NALA proposed an entirely new design. Led by Chief Engineer Edgar Schmued, a German immigrant with experience from Fokker and Messerschmitt, the team had just 117 days to deliver a prototype. Schmued's design was revolutionary. The Mustang featured a Laminar-Flow wing inspired by NACAMA, National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, data, which reduced drag and boosted efficiency. The fuselage was semi-monocoque aluminum, lightweight yet strong, measuring 32 feet 3 inches long with a 37-foot wingspan and 13 feet 8 inches tall. Empty, it weighed about 7,635 pounds, fully loaded for takeoff up to 12,100 pounds. The initial power plant was the Allison V-1710, a liquid-cooled V12 engine delivering 1,150 horsepower, propelling the plane to around 390 mph at low altitudes. But early tests revealed a flaw: poor performance above 15,000 feet due to the single-stage supercharger. Production ramped up quickly. The first British Mustang Warman Force and serial AG345 flew on April 23, 1941, test-piloted by Louis Waite. NAA's Inglewood plant became the heart of manufacturing, churning out early models like the P-51A. By 1943, demand exploded, leading to a second factory in Dallas, Texas, Grand Prairie. Total output, 15,586 Mustangs across variants, with over 8,000 from Inglewood and 7,000 from Dallas. Costs fell from $50,000 per unit to about $40,000 by war's end, thanks to assembly line efficiency and a workforce including thousands of women. Some components, like the Packard-built Merlin engines, came from Detroit, Michigan. Even Australia license-built 200 as the CAC CA-18. The real breakthrough came in 1942. British engineers at Rolls-Royce mated the airframe with their Merlin 61 engine, a V12 beast with a two-stage supercharger producing 490 to 1,710 horsepower. Licensed and built by Packard as the V-1650, it transformed the Mustang. Top speed soared to 440 mph at 25,000 feet, with a service ceiling of 41,900 feet and a climb rate of 3,200 feet per minute. Range, an astonishing 1,650 miles internally, extendable to 2,300 with 75 or 110-gallon drop tanks, perfect for escorting B-17 Flying Fortresses to Berlin and back. The propeller was a four-bladed Hamilton Standard, or Aero Products unit, constant speed for optimal performance. A ventral radiator scoop used the Meredith effect, converting exhaust heat into extra thrust for 10 to 15 mm more speed. Armament evolved with the plane's role. Early P-51As had four 50-caliber Browning M2 machine guns, 2 per wing, with 1,260 rounds total. From the P-51BC onward, it packed 6 50 cals, 3 per wing, belt-fed with 1,880 rounds, 400 for inners, 270 for outers. These synced to fire through the propeller, delivering devastating bursts against Luftwaffe fighters like the Messerschmitt Bf-109 or Focke-Wulf FW-190. Underwing hardpoints allowed up to 2,000 pounds of bombs, e.g. 2 1,000-pounders, high-velocity aircraft rockets, HVAR, or napalm for ground attack. The A-36 Apache variant added dive brakes for precision bombing. Pilots loved the hydraulically boosted controls, ailerons, and elevators for agile maneuvers, with a tight turn radius rivaling the Supermarine Spitfire. Variants proliferated to meet wartime needs. The P-51A was the Allison-powered original, suited for low-level ops. P-51B, Inglewood built, and C, Dallas, introduced the Merlin and Razorback canopy. The iconic P-51D, with its teardrop bubble canopy for 360-degree visibility, became the most produced 7,156 units from 1944. It featured refined aerodynamics and often a dorsal fin for stability. The lightweight P-51 postwar hit 487 mpb but saw limited action, 555 built. Recon versions like the F-6 had cameras, trainers like the TP-51 were two-seaters. Fuel tanks held 269 U.S. gallons internally, with self-sealing liners for combat survivability. The Mustang entered combat in April 1942 with the RAF flying low-level reconnaissance and ground attacks over occupied France, including the Dieppe Raid in August. USAAF A-36s supported the North African and Italian campaigns from 1943, bombing Axis positions in Tunisia and Sicily. But its legend was forged in Europe with the 8th Air Force. Before Mustangs, unescorted bombers suffered horrific losses, 60 B-17s downed in the Schweinfurt-Regensburg raid of August 1943 alone. Merlin-powered P-51BCs arrived in December 1943, revolutionizing strategic bombing. On March 4, 1944, Mustangs escorted bombers to Berlin for the first time, claiming dozens of kills. During Big Week, February 20–25, 1944, they destroyed 157 Luftwaffe aircraft, crippling German production. By D-Day, June 6, 1944, P-51s achieved air superiority, strafing beaches, roads, and trains in Normandy. In the Battle of the Bulge, December 1944 – January 1945, despite foul weather, Mustangs from groups like the 344th attacked German columns, destroying fuel convoys and panzer units, echoing the logistical nightmares that halted the Ardennes offensive. Pilots like George Preddy Jr. racked up 26.5 victories in Isontkyo, his P-51 Cripes a Mighty becoming the top Mustang ace. In the Pacific, from 1944, P-51Ds based on Iwo Jima escorted B-29 superfortresses over Japan, downing kamikazes and bombing factories. During the Battle of Okinawa, April–June 1945, they protected U.S. naval fleets from aerial assaults. Post-WWII's redesignated F-51s fought in Korea 1950, now 1953, providing close air support against North Korean forces, though vulnerable to MiG-15 jets. Over 281 Mustang pilots became aces, including Chuck Yeager, who later broke the sound barrier. The plane's versatility, fighter, bomber escort, ground attacker, made it indispensable. Production ended in 1946, but Mustangs served in 55 air forces until the 1980s, with the Dominican Republic retiring theirs in 1984. Many surplus planes became racers, dominating events like the Reno Air Races. Today, about 175 survive, with 100 airworthy, preserved in museums like the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force in Dayton, Ohio, or the Military Aviation Museum in Virginia Beach. The commemorative Air Force's Gunfighter has thrilled airshow crowds for decades. The P-51's legacy? It exemplified Allied ingenuity, American mass production meeting British engine tech. Drawbacks included early engine limitations and ground fire vulnerability, but strengths like range, speed, and firepower outweighed them. It influenced jets like the F-86 Sabre and remains a symbol of WWII aerial dominance. As one veteran said, the Mustang didn't just fight the war, it won the skies.